Now, at this point, I'm going to sign off my cache document. So down here in cache, simple sign off, simply right click, and I'm going to sign off as the preparer. Now I know we haven't looked at this document. We'll come in and have a look at it in a moment. I also want to create a milestone of the cache document at this point in time. And to do that, I'm going to select the document ribbon and choose Save As and Save Milestone. And I'll name this milestone Caseware Zone and click Save. Now I want to make a change to the file that's going to affect the document, specifically the cache document. So let's open this up quickly here. Have a peek at the cache document. You can see I've signed it off and the balances are listed here. I'm going to close this and go into my Adjusting Entries screen, and that's found under the Account ribbon, Adjusting Entries. Or I could have simply clicked on the navigation toolbar for adjusting journal entries. The current entry, I'm going to click New and create entry number 1, and this will just be a cash sale, and that's going to be posted to my petty cash account for, I'll make it $100, and I want to offset that to my sales account for $100. Now, I'm showing an annotation column on my screen. That's not turned on by default, and some of you might be interested in getting that annotation column on in the Adjusting Entry screen. We can always go to the View menu and reorder columns to pull that in from the hidden columns over to the active columns. The other thing that I like to do in my files is customize the entry screen so that I show both debit and credit columns here. It just gives me a better visual when I'm working on the file. With the annotation column, I have the ability then to right-click and add line annotations, notes, tick marks, document references, manual references, and hyperlink references, just like we can in any of the automatic documents. Now this adjustment has been posted. I've moved off the line item so you know it's saved down to the database and applied to the file. Moving back to the document manager, we can immediately see the cache document line item in the document manager has turned red. So we have red font and it's also underlined. This lets me know that this document has changed since I last signed it off. So let's open the cache document. Now, we could easily see the adjusting entry. I'm showing adjusting entry detail in this file, and we can see it right there in my document. Now let's compare the document's current state to the saved milestone, Caseware Zone. To do that, I go back to the document ribbon, and I can choose Compare. And it gives me my compare options. I've got last completion of enroll by me. Well, that's fine. But I would like to go to the last save milestone by me and choose compare. I can also go to a specific milestone, and there we see the Caseware Zone milestone. I'll use that one and click compare. Now, when I'm comparing to a milestone, we get some additional functionality available to us in our automatic documents. Note the content in red. The content in red indicates new information that is being applied to this document. And content that's struck out in gray is the old content that this document is displaying. At the top here, where we have the green arrows pointing inwards, that's new information that's coming into this document. So all of this information is brand new. And had there been blue arrows pointing outwards or to the left, that would indicate line items that have been removed from the document based on its previous state and its comparison to the milestone. So we can very easily see what has changed in this document as a result of comparing it to the milestone. Now let's close the cache document here. And I want to extend this a little bit further, but before I do that, there are several different ways to remove the redlining. The first way would be to go back to the adjusting entries and either delete the entry or change it to an unrecorded entry. By doing that, it's no longer different in my cache document than its original state. However, let's say that entry was a required entry. Then it is going to be different when it's applied. Actually, let's change that to normal entry. So it is going to look different when it's applied, and in the document manager it will show as red still. The second way of removing the redlining is to re-sign it off, because it's only going to provide the redlining from the point in time that you last signed off the document. I'm not going to do that right now. The third way would be to go to your engagement menu and run cleanup, which would remove the history from the file, and without any history from the file, then the redlining would go away as well. In this document's properties, we currently have history items being tracked. The sign-off is being tracked, as well as the milestone. And we do have details available for each of these items if we want to get down into that level of detail. Now I'm going to close the milestone detail, and I'll click OK on the document properties.